Well, television fans, today's episode starts out on a high note. And now that that's over, let's get on with the story. It starts here at the most dismal piece of real estate in all of Wisconsin, Sullivan's Swamp, owned lock, stock, and skunk cabbage by Professor Waldo Wigglesworth. Sullivan's Swamp was always for sale, but nobody was buying.
Look, Chief, I'll give you 38 cents to take it off my hands.
Red man want country back, but not that bad.
You've got to start somewhere.
Okay. You want to make deal for Miami Beach?
Yes, Sullivan's Swamp was a clinker, all right.
Only when the wind's from the east.
I said clinker.
Oh.
So it was a happy day when Waldo burst into Hoppity Hooper's cozy cottage and said,
Fellas, I just sold Sullivan's Swamp.
Great! For how much?
Well, I didn't get money exactly. I swapped it for this beautiful desert resort.
Oasis Gardens Vacation Wonderland.
Hey, boy, that's pretty.
You traded that old swamp for this jazzy desert resort?
Well, I had to throw in a little something extra, of course.
Like what?
Like the deed to this house.
What? Uncle Waldo, this is my house.
Sis, for shame, Hoppity Hooper. Hasn't it always been share and share alike between us?
Well...
Besides, you don't have to leave right away.
Oh! How long can I stay?
You've got till 4 o'clock. Get packed, Hoppity Hooper. The open road is falling. We're on our way to beautiful Oasis Gardens.
So within a few days, our heroes were driving through the sunny Southwest, and it looked like a happy ending in the middle of the first episode, until...
Oasis Gardens is just over that rise. Soon we'll be... Uh-oh.
There's nothing there, Waldo.
Sure there is. A square mile of sand, cactus, rattlesnakes, and horny toads.
Let me see that picture again.
Unfortunately, that picture had been printed in disappearing ink, and even as our friends watched, yes, Waldo had traded a piece of land worth nothing for one worth even less.
Gee, I wonder who's living in my cute little house now.
Well, we know one thing. It's somebody even crookeder than Waldo.
You could say that again, fat boy. But the wily fox was not so easily beaten.
Gentlemen of the legislature, I demand action.
Such as?
You pay wheat farmers not to grow wheat, right?
Right.
You pay cotton farmers not to grow cotton, right?
Right.
And pig farmers not to raise pigs, right?
Right.
Well, at Oasis Gardens, we are not raising all three, and yet you don't pay us a dime. I demand action, right?
Right. It didn't work, huh?
I have only begun to fight.
And so in the federal building next door...
I demand that Oasis Gardens be made the #1 federal disaster area.
I'm sorry, we already have a #1 federal disaster area.
Where is it?
Washington, D.C.
All right, I'll settle for #2.
We try harder.
Now, just where is Oasis Gardens?
Well,
It was then that Waldo made a startling discovery. So isolated was his new property that it didn't even appear on the government's maps.
Well, that's it, Hoppity. As far as the government's concerned, we're not even in the country.
It was then that Fillmore noticed something peculiar about Oasis Gardens.
Hey, Waldo, what's that funny dark puddle in the sand?
Don't bother me, Freeport. It's just an ordinary pool of oil.
Oh, I thought it might be important.
Maybe we could go into the horny toad business, Hoppity. Oil. 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 Oil.
What's with Uncle Waldo?
Oil. Oil.
Uh-oh, his needle's stuck. I'll have to nudge him.
Millions of dollars. Millions. This land is soaked with oil. Look, it's oozing out of the ground.
It's oil, all right. The question is, how do we get hold of it while they're still around? My friend, that's a question with a very simple answer.
Well, who are these sinister types, and what do they want?
That's easy. What have you got?
Don't miss our next episode, The Night Crawlers, or Oily to Bed, Oily to Rise.
Okay, and you can see it later in the show, so stay tuned. Every time I hit my TV set, I get a commercial.
Nonsense.
Yeah? Watch.
Last time, you remember, Hoppity, Waldo, and Fillmore had become the not-so-proud owners of a miserable square mile of desert called Oasis Gardens, full of nothing but sand fleas and scorpions.
A vile canard, sir. Oasis Gardens has no scorpions.
No, the rattlesnakes chased them out.
What's more, the government wouldn't even qualify Oasis Gardens as a disaster area.
According to our maps, there is no such place as Oasis Gardens.
What does Washington say?
How about it, Senator?
Well, now, what are the taxes on Oasis Garden?
We've never collected taxes on it.
Well, it seems to me that settles it. If we haven't taxed it, it doesn't exist.
Gee, it's like having a little country all our own.
Who needs it?
The situation changed radically, though, when Fillmore discovered a large puddle on the ground, which turned out to be...
Oil.
Oil?
It's oil.
Yes, oil. The news spread quickly, and the cry was taken up everywhere. In Texas,
Oil.
in Oklahoma,
Oil.
in Brooklyn.
Oil.
Well, Waldo Wigglesworth doesn't need a tree to fall on him to know what to do now.
What do we do now, Uncle Waldo?
I haven't the faintest idea.
Okay, Fillmore.
Timber!
I've got it! Boys, we are founding our own country. We live like princes.
What?
I hereby proclaim the independence of the fair, oil-soaked land of Boondockia.
Boondockia?
Oil for one and one for oil.
Well, it seems as if everybody loves a new nation.
Especially if it's got oil in its front yard.
No sooner had Waldo made his unilateral declaration of independence than tokens of goodwill began to arrive from all over the world.
Look here, a solid gold fountain pen with an oil contract attached to it.
What are those round things?
Adjustable loopholes for the contract.
What's this? A customized camel.
A complete sheik's outfit with detachable sideburns and an autographed picture of Vilma Banky.
Best of all, a 26-volume Morocco-bound set of credit cards.
Gee, it's nice to have pals.
But don't you see, Uncle Waldo? All these presents have strings attached to them.
Yeah, especially the camel.
Nonsense, Hoppity. I'm really a very likable fella.
Oh, come on, Waldo. How long we gonna keep playing hard to get with our oil?
As long as the loot keeps coming in.
And that might not be for long. For in a secluded boardroom many miles from Boondockia, a syndicate of powerful oil magnates was meeting.
Well, we have tried the sweetheart approach, and it didn't work. We must use other means to get control of that oil.
Such as what?
We have sent to Boondockia the most ruthless, cold-blooded double dealer in the world.
Not him!
Yes, he. That legendary demon of the desert, Sahara Vaughn.
Blah! It's oil, all right, Allie. So we must overthrow the government of this kingdom. But why, Effendi?
Because it's there.
Ah, there's one of our victims now. Salam, Effendi.
Salami to you, too.
You must be one of the fortunate citizens of Boondockia.
Yeah, there's only 3 of us, you know.
And just what is your position?
Today, I'm Vice President, Supreme Court Justice, and Trash Collector.
Well, that's good enough for me. May I take your picture?
Certainly.
Just a sec, old muffin, whilst I load my camera. And load it he did. For that wasn't just a camera, but a cleverly disguised miniature cannon.
Hey, what's that you're pouring in there?
Flashlight powder, old crumpet. I want to get rid of that shadow under your chin, amongst other things.
You want I should say cheese?
How about just saying goodbye?
Fire away. Goodbye.
As Boondockia lost a third of its population just like that, we'll see what develops next in a negative approach or more film for Fillmore. Well, it seems that oil, like gold, is where you find it. And our heroes found it lying in a puddle on a miserable plot of desert sand called Oasis Gardens. Waldo immediately founded the new oil kingdom of Boondakia. And the goodwill gifts began to arrive by the carload.
This is a better racket than having 3 birthdays.
But when Waldo played hard to get with his oil, along with the presents arrived the sinister figure of that legendary agent, Sahara Vaughn.
Let's overthrow this country quickly, Ollie. I'm due back in Bangkok for tiffin.
His first move was to get Fillmore in front of a camera, which was also a cannon in disguise.
Smile, you're on cannoned camera.
Fortunately for Fillmore, Sahara, like most amateur photographers, had forgotten to take the lens cap off the camera. So when he squeezed the bulb...
Effendi, you all right?
Of course I'm all right.
Then why are you up on that cactus?
The view is much better.
Then why you come down?
I've seen the view.
Hey, what happened?
Spot too much flashlight powder, old boy.
I'll take 6 of them if they turn out.
Who are you fellas?
I'm Sahara Vaughn, the Sahara Vaughn, and this is my servant Ollie.
I've heard of you.
Thanks awfully.
Not you, him.
Ollie?
Yeah, tell me, whatever happened to Kukla and Fran?
Later, the wily secret agent spoke with his henchman.
Getting frightfully late, Ollie. We better put Plan G7 into effect.
I've always liked Plan G7. What is it?
The burning oil well shtick, you nit.
But there's no well, Effendi. The stuff is just lying on the ground.
It still burns. I say, Sheik Waldo.
The Caliph hears you, O stranger.
The Caliph? What's with Waldo?
I think that headband's too tight for him.
It's shrinking?
Nope, the head is swelling.
I say, do you have a light exalted one?
Here, honored guest.
Fillmore, that's a $10 bill he's lighting that cigar with.
He's flipped his fez, all right.
Then, as Waldo flipped the burning bill away, it was caught by a fitful breeze, supplied by Ollie, and fluttered through the air right into our hero's oil pool.
It's on fire!
It's fire!
Fire!
Fire.
Quickly, Hoppity seized a shovelful of sand to douse the fire, but...
Oh, come now. That's no way to put out an oil well fire.
No?
Don't you ever watch the old Chester Morris movies on The Late Show?
Oh, yeah. Some guy who always puts on a funny-looking helmet.
Like this one?
Yeah, and then he gets in back of a shield.
Like this?
Uh-huh. And then he takes a box of dynamite right up to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody explodes it.
Then blows the fire out. Yeah!
A shovel full of sand would do just the same thing.
But that's such a cheap, easy way.
Uncle Waldo.
It's my oil well fire, and I want it blown out with dynamite.
Oh, Sheik Waldo, you're class. Real class.
But who'd be stupid enough to carry the dynamite?
Hey, well, you got the helmet on.
It wouldn't fit anyone else.
But gee.
Chester Morris wouldn't hesitate a second.
Well, okay, give me the box.
As I move the truck, I wouldn't want it to get scratched, you know.
So as Hoppity approached the flames, Waldo moved the truck, and Fillmore made a startling discovery.
Hey, under the truck, Professor, another puddle of oil, just like the first one.
Philpot, that oil we discovered.
Was just stuff that had dripped out of the bottom of our truck.
And our Hoppity is risking his little green neck to blow up a puddle of used crankcase oil?
Yes, Hoppity had reached the end of the wire.
Shovel full of sand would have done just as well.
And Sahara Vaughn prepared to press the fateful plunger ahead of time and blow up Hoppity along with the fire.
Now, come to think of it, old boy, that's what happened to Chester Morris, too.
Don't miss our next bang-up episode, The Rains Came, or The Froggy Do. Last time, you remember, we left Hoppity Hooper hopping toward a small blaze in the Boondakia oil well, while the villainous Sahara Vaughn prepared to blow him sky high. What was worse, we also found out that it wasn't even a real oil well.
Look, under our truck.
Another puddle of oil.
Then that's what we really discovered.
And then Hoppity's risking his life over a gallon of crankcase stripping.
Hoppity! Stoppity!
But just then, Hoppity reached the end of the line and set down his case of TNT, just as Sahara Vaughn pressed down the plunger. Nothing happened.
What happened? You heard the man. Nothing happened.
Hey, this stuff didn't explode.
Ooh, must be a bad batch of cheesecake. We'll get some more. You can go back.
No need to. The fire's out.
Out?
I used a shovel full of sand.
Ooh, how crude.
Maybe you just had your wires crossed, Mr. Vaughn.
Impudent pollywog. Imagine he's giving advice to me, Sahara Vaughn. Then you mean, Effendi, it's perfectly safe to put this wire on here and this wire on...
Oh, we're too late.
Hey, baby Hoppity's still okay.
Okay. Look at that hole in the ground. He's gone for good, and it's all my fault. Oh, if I hadn't been such a greedy god.
Hey, that's right.
I'm a dunce, Fillmore.
That's right.
A chuckle-headed, inconsiderate nincompoop.
That's right.
A clodful dunderhead, a callow door plucker, a quack-salving wily pie.
That's right.
Couldn't you argue with me just a little?
Hey, I can't. I don't know what you're talking about.
Those are all insults.
I thought they was birds.
But just then,
Well, I see Mr. Vaughn got his wires uncrossed.
Hey, Hoppity!
Hoppity, is it really you?
You have any other short, green, goggle-eyed nephews?
Hey, you must be you, all right.
Where's Sahara Vaughn and Ollie?
From the looks of that crater, I'd say they left unexpectedly.
Good thing. Did you know that he was a secret agent hired by a syndicate of oil magnets?
The magnets always stick together.
How do you know that, Hoppity?
I got a letter from a little girl in Cincinnati, Ohio, who watched the last episode.
Thank you, Cindy Lou Gershman.
but our heroes soon found out that a little kingdom without oil has very few friends.
You're taking back my customized camel?
There's an our Morocco-bound credit cards.
What will our little kingdom do?
Why don't you do what all the other little kingdoms do?
What's that?
Starve.
But just then,
Hey, what's happening?
The screen is shaking.
But in a movie about oil wells, that means only one thing.
You was threaded wrong.
No, a gusher's coming in.
sure enough, right out of the enormous crater shot a huge gusher.
Hoppity, we're rich!
Again.
Just look at that wonderful black, smelly gold.
Uncle Waldo, this stuff isn't black.
And it isn't smelly.
And it isn't gold either.
No, as a matter of fact, it was water.
Just plain ordinary water. Water! 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 Water!
Oh, most fortunate frog, for our heroes had found something which is rarer in the Southwest than gold, silver, or even oil.
Water! Ooh, I never see that much in all my bones.
I didn't think there was that much.
Seems a little sinful somehow.
And like most little sins, people seem to enjoy it very much. In no time at all, our heroes' barren land was a thriving resort called, what is it called?
Well, I wanted Fox Hill.
And I wanted Big Bear Lake.
So we settled for Hoppity Springs.
Doesn't he, though? And so everybody wound up happy, except Sahara Vaughn and Ollie.
I wonder where we'll land, Effendi. I'm not concerned about where. I'm worried about when.
And, of course, the rogue who sold them the land in the first place.
Fui. But I'll have the last laugh. You wait and see.
You'll have to be quick because this is the end.
Ha! Ha! Ha!